Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we're on the website of the French auction portal Tenor Encheres, and we're having a look at an auction by the Vichy Encheres auction house, which is also based in France. This is their second of two musical instrument based auctions. The other one was actually today, finishing today, and this one is due to finish tomorrow, which is the 7th of May. It is the 6th of May today. Not quite as many lots in this auction as the other one. There's 319 in this one. I think the other one was like 384 or something, or 360. So that's going to be a little bit kind of quicker. 24% is the buyer's premium, the bit that you kind of pay on top of the hammer price. As I always say, like, this auction is in France, so if you're outside of France, or if you're outside of the European Union, then you need to check kind of import, export, shipping fees, all of the things. You can kind of read all about it kind of here. This auction actually looks like it's going to be pretty cool. It's a similar mix to the other most recent auction that we looked at, so it's going to be kind of like bowed and plucked strings, lots of woodwind, lots of brass, etc. But this auction looks like, this particular one, I don't know, it looks like a little bit, potentially a little bit more interesting. But anyway, without further ado, let's just kind of get into it and see what we've got. I'll have to turn on the old translate here so that we can kind of know what's going on. So here we have a flat mandola, anonymous, around 1930. We've got a bluegrass 5-string banjo around 1970. Neapolitan Mandolin by Vichy from 1886. A zither banjo here from 1900, sold as is. A mandolin with 4/5 courses bearing Estudiantina label in 1930. A Roman mandolin by Emanuel Agildo from 1906. Double bass mandolin in the style of Gelas, made by Patinote in Matancourt around 1950. And we've got a few more pictures on that one. Tenor Banjo by Clifford, Essex, Paragon model, 1920s. Another Roman mandolin by Agildo Emanuel from 1925. Quite nice. Back on that, beautiful patina. I would agree, it is quite nice. So, Neapolitan mandolin with 33 hollow ribs, bearing the label of Abate and Figlio, Napoli. Yeah, it's quite a nice looking instrument there. 600 to 700 euros is the estimate, so nice looking one there. An 18th century English cistern by Gibson and Woofington, 1774, mounted in strings with capo. Interesting looking object. 600 to 700 euros. I think it's obviously had some modifications. A viola da gamba by F. Upman from 1963. Quite cool scroll. A viola without corners, alto size, 5 strings, made by Raymond Chance in 1980. Interesting. A viol consisting of a viola d'amore body dating from the 18th century and a neck reassembled in the 19th century. There you go. With its head carved into the claws of an eagle. I just wonder if I've seen this before. It looks kind of familiar. I'm not quite sure why. I don't know if it's been at a previous auction before. 1600 to 2000 is the estimate. That is a pretty cool kind of scroll though, to be fair. Interesting looking instrument. Instrument comes from the former collection of Arnold Dolmetsch. There are photos with Arnold Dolmetsch with this instrument in the book Personal Memories of Arnold Dolmetsch by Mabel Dolmetsch. There you go. I wonder if we saw it at a Gardner Hallgate sale or something. I can't quite remember, but interesting looking object. Definitely seen it somewhere before, but where, I can't remember. Jazz guitar by Raymond Chance around 2000. There's a lot of Roman chants instruments going about. A romantic guitar branded with Cabas, spruce veneered mahogany back. Demet tuners, interesting enough, 500 to 600 euros. It's fairly reasonable. Hawaiian style guitar with metal strings bearing the Monzino iron mark, Milan, around 1930. Interesting kind of Stauffer style headstock there. Ooh, a romantic guitar by René Lecotte. There you go, we're in the premium romantic guitars here. 10 to 12,000 is the estimate. Shame there's not more pictures, but yeah, very nice looking instrument for sure. An instrument inspired in the style of a 6-string mandolin, with a label saying Pierre Alaven Marseille 1872. Interesting, that's a pretty curious looking bowl on that one. Very interesting. Sakazo Nakade guitar made in Japan 1961. Lyre guitar by Rudolf and Malchand in Paris around 1800. This one is a bit nicer than the one that's in the previous auction we looked at. Colombian tipple by Liberto Planas, made in 2003. Gibson brand solid body electric guitar, Les Paul Deluxe model, 1972, 2000 to 2200. Entirely original except for the tuners and jack plate. Interesting. Fender Deluxe model guitar amplifier. Fender electric guitar model Stratocaster from 1991. A guitar attributed to David Enessa, Paris, circa 1940. Anonymous classical guitar, probably the work of a German luthier, they say. The Gibson branded solid body electric guitar, Les Paul Deluxe from 1969. Worn original frets, non-original nut, 2 volume potentiometers changed, original buttons in a bag, 3 to 4,000 is the estimate. Legani 3rd model guitar made in Mirecourt, circa 1820. Classical guitar by Laurentius Bellafontana, made in Genoa in 1961. Classical guitar attributed to David Enessa, circa 1940. Fender Stratocaster guitar, Eric Clapton signature from 1988. Fender lace sensor pickups. Another Gibson electric guitar, Les Paul standard from 1993. Gibson hollow body guitar made in the USA, ES175 from 1999. A romantic guitar made around 1830. An iron mark and label Gand luthier. Not quite as nice as some of the other ones we've seen. Romantic guitar by Visionaire, circa 1830. It's a kind of interesting shape. Classical guitar by Daniel Lesure from 1975. Another Gibson Les Paul there, Les Paul Custom from 2016. Fender Stratocaster there, made in the USA from 1974. Trussart. Solid body electric guitar by James Trussart from 2004, the DeVille. Nickel steel DeVille. Interesting, those guitars, for sure. Interesting, a harpist chair. Revolving seat, like a shell very curious. Chromatic accordion by Marjane. A set of 2 Scottish bagpipe practices. I think that's kind of the chanters, is it? Probably may have got that wrong. Northumbrian small pipes by Burley. Set of 6 reed boxes for bagpipes. Uilleann pipes. There you go. By Dave Williams, or made for Mark Guillot by Dave Williams. Newark, 1983. That's interesting. Got the whole range. So we've got part of bagpipes, we've got Northumbrian pipes, and we've got Uilleann pipes. So that's a good collection. Set of old parts of bagpipes. Northumbrian small pipes and a pocket. Interesting. A musette de Santa made by Puget in Ardentes, as is. Interesting. Yeah, a real collection there. Small centre bagpipe stamp made by B. Jacquem for Mr. Guillot, 1995. Set of parts for bagpipes of the Northumbrian small pipes type. Scottish ebony bagpipes by Peter Henderson. There you go. €2,000 to €2,500 there. Zampogna, Italy, missing a pavilion. Homemade wooden crate is included. So looks like someone was a kind of collector of pipe instruments from all over the place. Set of 3 chanters for the Uilleann pipes there, without keys. Interesting Northumbrian boxwood small pipes. Yeah, I've definitely never seen this many types of pipes before in an auction. Wow, it's really incredible. Set of 3 bagpipes, bagpipe of 2 Mézode. Interesting. Northumbrian small pipes by John Addison. Never seen so many small pipes before. Very interesting. A cabaret stand in boxwood. Nice carving there. Musette Baritone by Deschamps. Northumbrian small pipes by Burley. Binio Cos, a pocket before boxwood bourbon inlaid with pewter. Interesting old Uilleann pipes there. Old cabaret with mouth, bone and exotic wood. Northumbrian small pipes. Bessonet type bagpipes stamped made by B. Jacquem for M. Guillot. So we have to assume that all of these have come from the collection of Mr. Guillot, whoever that was. Scottish bagpipes by R.G. Hardy, 1970. An Epinet, brand Newport Bamberg, Nuremberg. €600 to €800 is the estimate there. Professional Ulysses in its cover. Nice Sabot violin, signed A. Bertin, 1913. Very interesting. Clog kind of type fiddle thing. I've not quite come across one like that before. Set of 4 chanters for the Uilleann pipes. Ooh, an Organistrum by R. Chance around 1980. Excellent. Very cool. Mechanical cylinder organ. by JTL, our good old friends JTL. A lot of two baroque copper timpani, natural skins, which needs to be changed. Light wood wand with ivory handle, carved with a dragon. So you need to watch out for restrictions on ivory. A rare labelled sound level meter with its weights. Interesting. Imperial drum with harness and drumsticks. Good condition. Cane violin, attributed to Moritz Wilhelm Gleisel, complete with bow. Oh well, that's actually quite a nice one. Yeah, that one looks really well made. 4,000 to 5,000. You sometimes see Chinese kind of copies of this, but that's actually really quite nice. And nice bow as well. Yeah, that's very cool. I like that a lot. An Edison Bell phonograph. There you go. It's interesting. Something a bit different. Kind of tuning key there out of Boxwood, I presume. Little bagpipe player perched on a Boxwood barrel. Quite interesting. It all looks like we're getting onto kind of hurdy-gurdies. Yeah, Pimpard hurdy-gurdy, late 19th century, restored, revarnished, modern mechanics. A lot of three kind of backs for hurdy-gurdy by R. Chance. Hurdy-gurdy made in Genzat around 1816, Napoleon head. Interesting. Peugeot, round hurdy-gurdy in Genzat, many fractures as is. None of the heads are really speaking to me so far. Calais de Conte hurdy-gurdy kind of main case. Old flat Melling in Paris, kind of hurdy-gurdy. I'm not sure what's going on there. Oh, okay, right, I see. It's a kind of flat hurdy-gurdy. This is a bit, this is nice. I do like this kind of detail, the kind of cross-hatching and the stars. It's a nice kind of trait of some of the hurdy-gurdies from this period. That's an interesting one. A decanter hurdy-gurdy. Seems to be, oh, I was going to say missing its head, but no, the head is there. Curved hurdy-gurdy by Tixier in Genzat. Niju hurdy-gurdy. Hurdy-gurdy case made in Mirecourt without the head. A large hurdy-gurdy made by Raymond Chance in Chassignol, Baroque model with columns circa 2000. It's quite an interesting one, isn't it? Hurdy-gurdy by Puget in Le Châtre, made in 1897. Hurdy-gurdy stamped Tixier, Genzat. This is a good auction for hurdy-gurdy lovers. Round hurdy-gurdy from Peugeot. None of them are really screaming at me so far, I must admit. Decante hurdy-gurdy. It's in a pretty bad way. looks like 18th century hurdy-gurdy with a flat back. It's quite a nice head. Yeah, that one's not too bad. Peugeot hurdy-gurdy. We're on to the next page. Wow, this really is quite a lot of hurdy-gurdies. Peugeot hurdy-gurdy from 1900. Strange hurdy-gurdy bearing the label Calais de Cant. I'm not sure it's really that much stranger than any of the others. Calais de Cante hurdy-gurdy again. Spectacular flat hurdy-gurdy by Raymond Chance. It's certainly quite colourful. Round type hurdy-gurdy. Inscription Gamondo. Nice keys. A boat-shaped hurdy-gurdy. Sculptured head of a young man by Peugeot. A beautiful pimpard hurdy-gurdy. Peugeot hurdy-gurdy. Definitely needs a lot of work on that one. And I think we're past hurdy-gurdies now. Johann Kilian Merkin pianoforte in the form of a harpsichord, circa 1768, signed Johannes Kilianus Merkin Parisilis or Parisis. Interesting. Wow, 80,000 to 100,000 there. Very curious. Yeah. Very good. Merkin is the first known Paris maker of square forte pianos. The discovery of this instrument made around 1768 suggests today that he would also be the oldest Parisian manufacturer of pianofortes in the shape of a harpsichord, the ancestor of the grand piano. There you go, that's quite interesting actually. 80 to 100,000, it would be very interesting to see if it goes for that much, given the current state of kind of keyboard instruments, but then again it does seem like it's quite historically important. Maurice Blum, 1832 to 1909, harpsichord player. Salon organ, 13 keys by Guatreau. Oh, another Johann Kilian Merkin pianoforte from 1781. Some 600 to 800 euros there. It's a little bit different from 80 to 100,000 pounds there, so definitely quite curious. Oh, rare old child with a carved head hurdy-gurdy there. Yep, a child's hurdy-gurdy, that's interesting. There's a piano key there. A fife by Cousineau in Paris. Piccolo flute in ebony, Godefroy, Paris. Piccolo flute in Boxwood by Bouthold and Thiberville. An ebony piccolo flute there, stamped Lesti Ancona. Piccolo flute, Boehm system, stamped Louis Lott. Ebony piccolo flute, stamped Karl Gottlob. Ooh, bass recorder, stamped IG Estrelli, Germany, around 1720. Wow, 6,000 to 7,000 euros. And bass recorder EB at A440 in tinted fruitwood. That must be fairly rare, I would think. Very interesting. Some restorations. Nice looking instrument. Boxwood Piccolo Flute by L. Embach. Boxwood Piccolo Flute, E.G. Williams. Piccolo Flute in ebony, stamped Tabard. Piccolo Flute, D. Potter, London. Piccolo Flute, tortoiseshell veneer on wood, interesting. Attributed to Johann Heitz, 18th century. That is an interesting looking piccolo flute. 1,000 to 200 euros, of course. CITES kind of some restrictions on that. Piccolo Flute in blackened wood, signed Jo Selbo. Piccolo Flute, stamped Rudolf Greve, Munich. Piccolo Flute in ebony, Nicholas Wienen. Piccolo Flute, stamped Amlinga in Paris around 1800. Okay. A book here, Chule Giannini, Great Flute Makers of France. Oh, we're on to flutes. Silver-plated flute by Roy Benson. There's a flute here. Ruddle Cart. Grenadier Flute. Stamped on all Toulouse. Ebonite Flute, stamped H. Kleeman, Brussels. That's an interesting looking one. 1885. Silver Flute by Louis Lott. Silver Metal Flute by Noble. Flute by Brunner and Keller. Silver Flute by Bonneville, silver plated flute even. Conical Flute by Muller. Boxwood Flute here. Stamped Peering, Berlin. Ebony Flute, stamped Nederman, Hanover, 1840, circa 1840. Ebony Flute there by Clinton and Co. Or Ebonite even. Silver Flute, stamped Jack Leff. Silver Plated Flute by H. Pehan. Silver Flute by Mendler. Silver Flute from Selma. Boxwood Flute by Potgieser. And we're on to the next page. Ebony Flute, made in the USA, end of the 18th century. Cylindrical flute there, Ruddle Cart. Flute in fluted, oh wow, flute in fluted crystal, wow. An articulated silver plate key stamped Laurent, Paris 1812. Wow, that is very interesting. Shame there's only, oh, I was going to say, it's the only picture. Wow, I've never seen anything like that before. That is very interesting. 8 to 10,000 euros. I'm not too surprised really, given that. Wow, That is something else, isn't it? Yep. Great amount of pictures, you have to give them credit, and that's good job on the pictures. Flute in silver, Prima Kotake. Ebony flute there, stamped Alexander. Conical flute, stamped Ruddle and Rose. An ebonite flute, Ruddle Cart. Flute, cylindrical bore there, stamped LL Lewis. Flute, stamped Claire Godefroy. Boxwood flute there, stamped William Henry Potter. Silver flute by Sancho. Ebony flute there, stamped Godefroy. Silver flute by LL Lewis. Silver flute, special keywork, derived from the Burma system. Boxwood flute by Prudent Theriot. Flute in silver metal, Burma system, Lewis Lott. And Boxwood flute, Goulding and Co. Boxwood flute, stamped Pellegrin di Azi, made in Venice around 1800. Conical flute in Boxwood, Guichard, Paris. Conical flute, Claire Godfrey. Silver plated flute, Bonneville. Oh, we need the picture. Flute stamped Sikama. Boxwood flute, stamped Grave in Mannheim. Silver flute, Buffet Crampon. Flute in silver metal, Godfroy. Ebony flute, stamped B.W. Douve-Anne. Silver flute, Bonneville. A flute by Martin Lott, mid-18th century. Boxwood flute, stamped Prosser. Silver flute by Leblanc. Boxwood flute by J.B. Martin. Boxwood flute by Henri Couster, made in London, 1780. Ooh. 3 Boxwood clarinets in C, B flat and A. Interesting. Behrman Ottensteiner system with 13 keys and 4 rings by George Ottensteiner, 4,500 to 5,000 euros. There you go. This type of instrument was played by Richard Mühlfeld, 1856-97, the most famous German clarinetist of his time, a member of the Ducal Court Orchestra of Meiningen. Mühlfeld was also principal clarinetist of the Festival Orchestra of Bayreuth from 1884 to 1896 and played under the direction of conductors such as Richard Strauss. In 1879 he became first clarinet of the elite court orchestra, which became known in Europe. In 1883 and 1890 the Duke of Saxe Meiningen appointed him Kammermusiker, the then musical director. He played under the direction of Johannes Brahms, with whom he became friends. Brahms composed several works, especially for Mühlfeld, including trio for clarinet, cello and piano in A minor. Opus 114, and the Quintet for Clarinet in B minor, Opus 115. There you go. It's a bit of a, not just looking at instruments, a bit of a history lesson as well. So it is interesting what you can read in these auctions. B-flat clarinet there by 3-star Kundi Bettany, made in USA. Boxwood clarinet, stamped L'Oreal. B-flat clarinet there, stamped M.W. Cahusac, London. Interesting. 1780. Clarinet BB in Boxwood, Martin J.F. Made at La Quatuor Bussy around 1830. And a box containing 2 B-flat clarinets, stamped Selma. Clarinet in C, Noblet and Thiberville. Clarinet in C in Boxwood, Sautermeister. Clarinet in BB Boxwood, stamped Dobner. BB clarinet Boxwood, Rudhard, Stuttgart. Boxwood clarinet here, Amelingue, Paris, late 18th century. Clarinet, anonymous. Clarinet in Boxwood, stamped L'Oreal in Bordeaux. Boxwood clarinet, stamped Thiberville Frère. Clarinet, stamped Florio, London. Ebony clarinet here in B flat, Behrman Ottensteiner system. And onwards, a Taragato in blackened wood, anonymous. Clarinet in C. Clarinet BB, Felchlin in Bern. Boxwood clarinet in C. Martin kind of stamps, I think. Boxwood clarinet in C. Lefebvre. Clarinet in A in ebony, anonymous. BB clarinet in Boxwood, stamped J Wood. J Wood painted and stamped Goulding & Co. William Waterhouse, The New Langwell Index, edition by Tony Bingham. Interesting. Philip T. Young, 4,900 historical woodwind instruments. Interesting. Lot of 33 reeds for oboes there. Now we've got some more things. An oboe here. Tribert, around 1850. Another Boxwood oboe here. Another Tribert. Pieces for oboe there. And bassoon. Tenor oboe here in fruitwood. Made by Andreas Königsberger. First half of the 18th century. Ebony oboe by Malern Gevelier, Dijon. Boxwood oboe by Johann Christopher Selbo in Copenhagen. Actually quite nice looking instrument there. Nice nice wood. Boxwood oboe there, Tribert. Ebony oboe, stamped Magente. Boxwood Oboe, stamped Bizet, tinted boxwood, Tribier, Boxwood Oboe, stamped Kramer, Boxwood Oboe, stamped Carl Gottlob Bormann, the Grenadier Oboe, stamped Buffet Crampon, Baritone Oboe, from Tribier, 5 to 6,000 there, around 1870. Interesting. Another Grenadier Oboe, a Selma. Another Grenadier Oboe, stamped Rigotat. Boxwood Oboe there, Porthal in Paris. The Grenadier Oboe, stamped Tribier. Some bassoons here. Maple bassoon, Claire Bellisser, Paris, 1840. The maple bassoon there, Jacques Prontemps, 1830. Maple bassoon, Zemak, Prague, 1800. Left-handed maple bassoon, Adler, 1830. Quite a lot of bassoons here. Maple bassoon, stamped Lindner, around 1740. That's quite early, 2 to 2,500 there. Maple bassoon, stamped Jean Tete, 1825. Is a maple bassoon, stamped Goulding and Dalemain, London, 1815. Maple bassoon, stamped Pezet. Maple bassoon, stamped Weiss, Berlin, 1820. Another maple bassoon, stamped Pezet, around 1810. Maple bassoon, stamped P. Piana in Milano, around 1825. Maple bassoon, stamped Bonnet de Horak, made in Prague, 1830. Maple bassoon, stamped W. Millhouse, London, circa 1800. I think that's William Millhouse, 1500 to 1800. Trying to learn gradually what I can. Selma, silver-plated soprano saxophone. Some Fibricel USA reeds for baritone saxophone. A saxello in satin silver with King H.N. White, Cleveland, 1936. Brass alto saxophone by Yvette Buffet Crampon. Alto saxophone by Veltklang. Alto saxophone, stamped Selma. Box for an alto saxophone, a Selma brand. And we're on to lots of saxophones now. Another alto saxophone, a Selma. An alto saxophone by LeBlanc. An alto saxophone by Con, USA. Alto saxophone by Selma. Alto saxophone stamped Dolnet Lefebvre. Alto saxophone by Dolnet Paros. Alto saxophone Selma. Alto saxophone sandblasted metal, Massbacher. Alto saxophone there, Selma. The alto saxophone, Cousineau. Selma, alto saxophone again. A tenor saxophone by Selma. 5 Selma mouthpieces there. A tenor saxophone there by Selma, 1969. Set 4 tenor saxophone next. Brass tenor saxophone there by Buffet Crampon. Tenor saxophone by King Cleveland. There's a brass tenor saxophone by Louis Robert. Another tenor saxophone by Martin Ellicott. 5 Selma mouthpieces again. Silver-plated tenor saxophone by Con. A baritone saxophone there by E. Bourgnier in Mons. A red lacquered baritone saxophone with dragon motif. Stamped 2000 East Star. Interesting. B flat trumpet there, stamped with old number 14715. Cornet in C, B flat, stamped Hythe standard. B trumpet by Selma. Trumpet with 3 valves, B flat by Bessen. B flat trumpet by Bessen. Long cornet there, Couturier. Cornet there by Olds. And Cornet Anglais by Boozy and Hawkes. A rare solo circular trumpet intoned by Rao, stamped on the Pavilion Theatre Royal de l'Opéra Comique, Rao, 1825. There you go. 5,000 to 6,000 euros. I do know just enough that the Rao is like a very good make, I believe. It's kind of early to mid 19th century, so that's it's interesting. Gold-plated brass 2-valve cornet by Con. Silver-plated trumpet there by King. B-flat C trumpet by Boucher Elkhart. Swiss Flugelhorn B-flat by C.H. Reiser. A cornet with 3 valves. Stamped sax at C. B-flat brass cornet by Hilary Sudra. B-flat trumpet stamped King. A bugle grasshopper in F in brass, attributed to Lidl. It's an interesting looking one. Silver plated brass cornet, stamped Con Cura CG Con. Flugelhorn in B flat, with Berliner screw valves, Arban sister by Antoine Courtois. Silver Medal of Honor, Universal Exhibition, Paris 1864. Bell engraved with silver plate marked Guinard Mayer Arthur, encased with 4 original tones and Courtois mouthpiece. There you go, 3,000 to 4,000. See if we can see the detail there a bit more. Interesting in its case. B flat trumpet there, stamped Columbia. Cornet with 3 brass valves by Lenhert. Cornet stamped Buscher. Cornet stamped Boston. Trumpet by King. Cornet by Olds. I think we're on to the last page now. So B flat trumpet by C.G. Conn. Trumpet, E flat, Roth J.M. Berger, Strasbourg. Another sandblasted urified brass trumpet, C.G. Conn. B flat A trumpet, gold brass, gold plated brass by C.G. Conn. Cornet with 3 silver plated valves, Columbia. A cornet with 3 Stossel pistons, offset screws by Guichard. Nice box. Another cornet with Stossel pistons, Martin Frères. Brass cornet with 3 Stossel screws, Courtois. Gold plated brass trumpet, King. It's made by H.N. White. All those other King ones I think were H.N. White. Cornet there, stamped Meredith. See if the image is going to come up or not. Here it is, finally. E flat contrabass tuba there, stamped Bessen. Another E flat contrabass tuba, Boozy and Hawks. Here's a Serpent Horn there. This, you can see how the translation doesn't always quite work out. 6-hole wooden snake. So there's probably lots of things I've said wrong because I don't 100% know what everything is, but I'll get there eventually. E flat alto saxophone by Bessen. B flat contrast tuba, German model. A baritone saxophone in the shape of a B flat helicon, 3 pistons, stamped Swiss Hirschbrunner with mouthpiece. Interesting. E flat alto saxophone by Courtois. French orchestra tuba, Association of United Workers. E flat alto saxophone by Courtois, sax horn even. E flat double bass sax horn by Courtois. Slide trombone in varnished brass, Courtois. Slide trombone, B flat by Antoine Courtois. Slide trombone B flat by Courtois. Trombone in CBB by Cousineau. Viennese, a 3-valve French horn, F tone. Compensating French horn by Selmer. Natural horn with painted bell, anonymous, 3 tones, 3 to 3,200. Wow, that's very beautiful, isn't it? It's very nice. That also looks kind of familiar, but maybe I'm just imagining things. French horn here, illegible stamp there. It's Paulus model. French horn in F with 3 Viennese valves. Holton brand Farkas double FBB horn. And the last one is a natural horn stamped Dubois and Couturier in Leon painted bell with 10 tones and 2 mouthpieces. In original box. This I think we've seen before. Maybe it's just as a few items from a previous auction that haven't sold. Perhaps that's it. 3 to 3,500 euros. So I think that's it. I think we've covered this 7th of May auction. I have to say, really interesting. A few things are pretty cool. So this is quite an exciting auction to look at. So yeah, it was pretty good. So yeah, this auction finishes tomorrow in France, so I'll put in the link in the description and see what you think. Check it out, but definitely some pretty cool stuff for sure. Yeah, good pictures, and yeah, fascinating really. So yeah, if you're interested, check it out. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Ciao. Many thanks for tuning in to the Musical Instrument Investigator. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please like, subscribe and turn on notifications, and watch out for the next video coming soon.